Stop. Right, another bit to check. This is the rocker shaft. We're going to take this to bits. Now you can see I put nuts and bolts through here to keep it together. But there's, I think there's something not quite right with this. I'm not really sure. But we're going to strip it down and see what it's like. So I've just put it through the wet bead blaster, you know, the vapor rolling machine. And that's why these have sort of flash rusted a bit. They were very dirty. But I've noticed that these are all loose. Why would you loosen those up? Anyway, that doesn't really matter. So, but the other thing on the other side is this. What we're looking at is the pads here. Now let's do a little zoom if I can get this right. You can see, perhaps here, the pads marked, but on this one, it's really marked pretty damn bad here. And that is the reason it didn't have the caps on the top of the valves. That one's marked, that one's marked, that one and that one. It is not the end of the world. Alright, it's not the end of the world because we can polish those on a sanding disc and just sort of linish them and make them nice again, because we're going to put the caps back on. The other thing we've got to check, which is kind of common because this engine was laced up with the silicone sealer, RTV sealer. These valves can get pretty close to these lift rockers here can get pretty close to the edge of the rocker box, and you can inadvertently squidge sealer into these holes here, the oil holes. Not good. Now you'll notice here that it's got two washers at this side and none at that side. I think what's happened is when it's been taken off before, they've got the washer at the wrong side, so we'll pay attention to that. There are washers, there's thin washers here, thin washers here. Yeah, so we're going to just take it to bits, have a look at the shaft, we'll call it John again, and then we'll see what it's like and see for assessment. So bearing in mind, this is the front. We should mark that, shouldn't we? We've got a pen. F. Front. I won't do back because it's kind of obvious. Now I put a nut and bolt through here to keep these together. We will have in here bead blast bleeds. I'm not bothered about that. It's sometimes easier to, you know, I put this through the parts washer, but it was still a bit grubby, so I thought I'd put it through the wet bead blaster first and see what these are like. So here we go. So we're going to keep that one with that one. You can notice on the 200 TDI they had silicone just about everywhere. So that one goes onto there. So we have a washer, spring, washer, rocky thing. I might have to move this across a bit because I've got a lot of space. Pay attention to this because it could be beneficial to you in years to come. Oh, sorry, you didn't say that, did you? Anyway, look, there it is. We're just taking them off. So this is this. There doesn't seem to be a washer on there. And the washer only seems to be on the springs. There's another one. So between the ends of the spring there is a washer. Washer. There. Now we'll get halfway because I'm going to run out of bench, and then we'll start up here. Alright, we'll start on this end here. So that had a big washer on there. And everybody's got your smartphones, you've all got your smartphones now. Just take pictures of stuff if you're not familiar with stuff. But in this instance, I'll do it for you, then you can work it out. So we're going like that. Hopefully we can salvage a lot of this stuff on here. And we can see what the shafts like. Now again, before we take it out completely, I'm going to make sure that it goes the right way around, because this is the top This is the top. Notice the oil holes. There's an oil hole. Oh, wait a minute, you're over there, aren't you? Now, so this is the shaft. Notice this is the top. This is the right way up. All right. Now, be careful of this one because you can actually put these in backwards. So pay attention. The oil holes here go towards the exhaust manifold because there's a set of holes there as well, and they're not even, they're not one on top of the other, they're all pointing towards the front, so bear that in mind when you're doing these and taking them apart. So let's take this one off. God, it's got silicone on it. Start at this end, and then we'll have an inspection of the shaft. So that goes onto there. I think the shaft's going to be alright. There. And there. Now, so that's it. That's basically how it goes. So what we're going to do now is get the dirtiest piece of rag you can find. It's very important. And let's have a look at the underside of here and feel if there's any wear. This is good. You see, even I've got that upside down now. The force of your push rod pushing up, pushing your valve down, means the wear at the bottom, not at the top. But anyway, I soaked it for a long time in the parts washer and it seems to be alright. And now I'll just blow it out. There's no dirt in there. And then what we're going to do is each individual one here, we're going to blow through this hole here, make sure the oil way is clear. Like I said before, they can get silicone in them. Oh, there was some crap came out of that. Did you see that? So they're alright. And then we can start to put these back together. But first of all, we're going to take these and make sure the bushings are alright. Now, a good place to test the bushings is right at the very end of here, because this part hasn't been subject to any wear, but it's the same diameter. Push them on there. Just an acceptable little clearance. They don't want to be too tight. Look, you see, that's how they want to be. But if they're going, that's it, they're knackered. Let's put this back together. So there we go, it's all back together again. Notice also, before I finish this video, there's little oil holes in the end of the balls here. Just make sure those are all clean and, you know, open, because if not, you'll get oil starvation. Now, as I mentioned, if there's any wear on the shaft or the bushings, replace them. We were lucky on this one, these were fine. But if there's any wear, because what happens is you've got resistance from your spring and you've got resistance from your push rod. So at the bottom, so say for example, that's the top and this is the bottom. There's the bottom, this is the top. The force is going up like that. So what happens is they wear here at the bottom. If there's any wear in the bush or the shaft, replace it, because you're going to get a lot of oil pressure loss through there. Because the oil finds its path of least resistance and comes flying through the top, and that reduces your oil pressure. So that's about it really. So that's another job done. Didn't cost us much. Now, a little hot tippity tip top. You know, when I polished the faces of these here, well, it's kind of acceptable because it was Claude down at the machine shop showed me how to do that. He says, oh, that's how we do them. So save yourself